Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining for another Gravitas Win show. This is the 34th show that we are having on a continuous basis from February. We are having. I'm thankful for everybody who has been joining very regularly, and without your support, this wouldn't be possible. So I'm deeply thankful for everyone. Okay, so let's go ahead. So opposites are true too. Now, many a times we think we know certain things to be very fact. We know that that's true, and that's it. Everything else is false, right? And I've been thinking about it for quite some time, but the idea for today's topic came in from a tweet by Sumit. Sumit has been attending these sessions for quite a while, and he said, when everything seems to going against you, remember that airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Very true, right? When I was working in Bangalore and I got a job in Delhi, when I was going to shift the last few days, I went to the CFO of the office and I told him, I'm going to go to Delhi. He said, you are making a mistake. Here you are doing really well. You don't know Hindi and you are going for a government contract. They can cancel the session, your contract anytime. So why would you do it? So that's the time I said this, something like this to myself, that, and in fact, not just my CFO, everybody else was also saying something similar. You are in Bangalore, it's a IT city. Why would you go out of here to Delhi and so on and so forth. And at that time, I told myself this particular thing, that if everything is kind of against you, the aeroplane takes off against the wind, so it's okay, go ahead. And which turned out to be true, because me coming to Delhi changed my life. After that, my life has been probably like this, taking off against the wind. And I'm here doing all of these kinds of wonderful things. I met quite a lot of wonderful people. So it has been fantastic. But I also tweeted something else. And I wasn't trying to troll him. I know Sumit. I know him really well. So I wasn't trying to troll him. The truth is, at one context, when everything is going against you, yes, you need to take off. But in another context, if everything is going against you, probably you are in the wrong lane. This is the dilemma that it all comes in our life, because what is true in one context may or may not be true in another context. This, what Niels says, may not be true in a scientific, factual manner, but in all of the philosophical statements and what we are hearing, this is very true. Yes, you have to take off against all of the odds against you, but it is also true, when all the odds are against you, you may have to start thinking, am I on the right track? Everybody is against me because I am actually doing the wrong thing. So we need to think about that. So that's one, okay? Now, this is a fantastic cola ad. Every marketing campaign goes like this. Identify a problem. So here is a guy on a desert, fully exhausted. So that's a problem. The target audience, there's a problem. He drinks a cola, which is the solution that I'm giving. And then once you have taken that particular solution, what's the transformation that you have? You are again happy, enthusiastic, you're jogging again, right? So this is what most of the companies do, and this is what I also do. Identify a problem statement for a particular audience, and then feed them your solution, and what's the transformation that is going to happen, right? So nothing wrong. This is how it is. And in fact, this has been a very successful campaign in so many places, except in Arab countries. or at least this is what I believe. If Danish was here, I would have asked him to validate this. But this failed in Arab countries. It was success in one context, but in a different context, it was a failure. Why? Because you would know, in the Arab countries, they read from right to the left. So which meant the entirely opposite thing what Kola wanted to convey, right? So we need to be careful what we believe as truth, what we believe as our guiding principles. Are they true when we change the context? This is why Malcolm, there's a book, I forget the name of the author, the second name of the author. What got you here will not get you there, because the context changes. Whatever that we kind of believed it is true, which is contributing to our success, and the context changes, you shift to a different city, you shift to a different role, and so on and so forth. Sorry, my internet got disconnected, so I'm going to put Sukhvinder as a co-host, so that in case something happens, we are still here. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, Joseph.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, thanks. So as I was saying, I found this to be very strange. As I was preparing for this session, I was looking at different things. This particular symbol, we are all very used to this, right? All of us we have seen it in multiple user screens, user interfaces, where this particular tick mark, it could mean okay, right, yes, I've done. It all means a positive thing. So we have seen this in the lot of user interfaces and user experience screens. This is what you have to do. This is what you should not do. So tick mark means yes, right, okay, I'm positive, and so on and so forth, right? That's what we think. And we would think that's true in a global context. Everywhere it is true. In every situation it is true. What I was very surprised to find was that that is not true. This means wrong. The tick mark means wrong in some contexts. In some countries, this means wrong. The tick mark means it is wrong in Swedish and even in Netherlands. In Holland also, it is not used. So if you are going there, or if you are a designer, especially like people like Sukhvinder and few other people who are designing for international markets, we'll have to be very careful about this. So here you might say, hey, quality check done, and you put in a tick mark, and somebody in Sweden, they pick it up. Oh, they have not done a quality check. Why would they send it without doing the quality check? Because the check mark means different things in India and almost everywhere else, and different thing in Sweden. So you may want to be careful in that. So the point here is, what is true in one context will be very different in another context. You may want to verify it. And it goes beyond all of these things as well. We have been told all of these proverbs. And I would have said this to myself, to others, right? We would have said, wait, all the good things will come for those who are waiting. But then it is also true that time and tide wait for no one. We have been told that particular proverb, and it is very true as well. And we have been told wise men think alike, but the truth is also fools seldom differ. What is true? What should I pick up in a particular context? What's the advice that I should do? So, say for example, I'm planning something. Take for example, as all of you know, I have a Gravitas Wins course. Then I'm here in 2021 October or September end, and I'm planning for something in January. Should I plan it? Forewarned is forearmed. Should I plan it? Or should I take an attitude, okay, do not cross the bridge until you come there. So be there, and then when it comes, you can kind of plan for it. So what should I do? I don't know, right? And we will all go through this kind of challenging moments in our life. They are all very contrary things. This is also true that don't overthink, so that don't think about crossing the bridge before it comes. But it's also true that you need to plan for it. You need to be forewarned. So, and they are very contrary. They are opposing things. As I started with, when things are against you, yes, you need to tell yourself a flight takes off when things are against you, but you also maybe have to pause and think whether I'm going on the wrong lane. So this is a very highly challenging situation for us, and most of us, we do not apply our mind. We use the same kind of shape, we use the same kind of principles all through our life. We do not sit and validate what I believe is right or wrong, because we have been grown in the same situation all along. I'll give you another example. Even today, we were discussing about it in one of the Gravitas Wins session that I was having, Gravitas Wins course with some of the students. I was saying, why don't people ask questions? And one of the students, she said very clearly, hey, for 20 years, we have been told in school and colleges and even in our homes, you can't ask questions. You have to respect elders. You can't, because if you're asking questions, it is a little bit arrogant. So we are trained in that particular fashion for 21 long years from the childhood. And we are always told, shh, don't ask, keep quiet, and so on and so forth. How will that person come to office in a corporate environment and suddenly be open about all the questions that they want to ask? It's not going to happen, right? Why? Because all of us think this is how the world is all through the time, right? So all through the 22 years until we finish our college, we think that is what our life is, and we carry the same principle to our office environment, and we think that is how life is going to be. Even here, I cannot ask for questions, I cannot express myself, and if I express myself, I will be considered as arrogant, so I should not do it. But guess what? You have to have a entirely opposite, entirely contrary view when you enter into office, right? And similarly, when you come to an executive level, you need to have a very different attitude. So this is a very, very challenging thing for us. So what can we do? Can we do something at all? And before I go into what we can do, and probably you need to ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself as the truth? Sometimes I have said all of these kinds of stuff. Okay, I'm an introvert, so I can't network. So I don't speak, I am not good in English, so I cannot be successful in life. Until I graduated college, I couldn't speak a single sentence in English. So somebody told me that. Somebody said, you don't know English, so you cannot be successful in life. And at that time, when I was 21, 22 and all, you all might have seen, there used to be prevalent ads. I don't know whether it is happening even now because I don't watch TV now, but it used to be a prevalent ad. Everything will say like, you need to be white, you need to be fair skinned, otherwise you are not beautiful, and you are like the dark skin, whether it is women or boys, they will all be very shy and so on and so forth. So the idea that was propagated was, if you are not fair skinned, then you will not be accepted in a crowd. So then you will have to ask yourself, what do you believe, and is that true? So yes, I'm an introvert, but that doesn't mean I can't network. Yes, I don't know English, that doesn't mean I cannot be successful. Yes, I was born in a village, that doesn't mean I cannot be successful. Both Dr. Velumani and Dr. Kalam, they both were born in a small village in some interior part of India, Tamil Nadu, but they went on to become very successful. So you need to keep asking what you consider as your limitations, and you'll have to ask whether it is still true. Have my context changed? Have my situation changed? Is that still true? You need to ask yourself that particular question. Okay. So we will go into how to know and deal. But before that, anyone has any questions, any comments? Anyone has handled this? Any questions at all? Anyone? Hi Sam, thanks for joining in. Hi Krishna, Jerome. Anyone has any questions so far?
Hi Joseph, Krishna here.
Yeah.
I could resonate a lot with these words, Joseph. So I pushed myself after 10 months in engineering job. I just pushed myself into a sales role because I just wanted to get out of my this inhibition to meet people, things like that. So that was my first sales job with HCL, selling computers, laptops, and things like that. So yeah, I think sometimes it is you take a leap of faith and you come out of your shell and do that. Now, after 15 years, I don't regret that decision because I've been always in sales since then. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, KK. Sukhvinder, do you have any anecdotes, anything to share, especially in your entrepreneurial journey?
There are many. One was a friend of mine there, and his father is a famous astrologer. He told me once that you cannot, and I'm looking after the company sales and marketing now. So these are all, I say, constraints which we have in our minds, some mental blocks. I'm also introvert, but that doesn't mean I can't talk to people now. You have to work on yourself. And I have a one-liner, I want to share that. It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see. So in this word, yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Sukhvinder, for sharing that. Anyone else has any points that you want to add, or any questions that you want to add before I move into the next section? Okay, so I'll move into the next one. So, and there are a lot of things that you can do, and I want to condense that into just 3 points. And if you do that, most probably you will come out of it, or at least in my experience, that is what has helped me. So again, I'm very conscious of not to give you any directives, having said everything that I have said. Okay, what I'm telling you is what has worked for me and what I have seen working for others. So 3 things. How do you know that, and how do you deal with it? 3 things. 1, build a diverse network. When I say diverse, most often what we do is our network is our school friends, is our college friends, is our professional friends who are with us, who are working with us. So say for example, if you are in marketing, it's all marketing people. If you are into IT, you're all into IT. And I have said this multiple times as well. For the first 10 years of my job, the entire network of me contained of South Indian, male, my age, software engineers. That's all. So what will we discuss when we go for a cup of coffee? Who is sending to online, on-site, and who is paying more? That's all we discussed, nothing else. No ideas, nothing else we discussed. In the last 15 years or so, I have people like Sukhvinder and like Sahil. They are entrepreneurs, they are CAs, they are movie directors, and so on and so forth. So what happens? What I believe as right, what I believe as truth, when I go and talk to them, they will give a very different opinion. They will challenge me. They will say, Joseph, this is not very true. This is not how it happens. They will give a very different opinion. So this is why I say, if you want to grow, first thing is you need to build a diverse network. And you might ask, how can I build a diverse network? Come in here. As a step to building diverse network, maybe all of you can share your LinkedIn profile, and maybe whoever wants to connect with their different people, you can all connect with each other. And you should ask, say for example, Sukhvinder shared something, and if that resonated with you. So he said, it doesn't matter what you look, what matters is what you see. So maybe you should connect with him and say, hey, what did you mean by that? Can you explain it a little more better? The problem is, we don't ask. As I said, we think, what will he think if I ask a question? Why should I ask that question? And all of those kinds of stuff, right? First thing is, when I say build a diverse network, come out of your fear, come out of your inhibition, and just meet people and ask questions. There are no stupid questions, right? There are only stupid answers. So ask a question, ask Sukhvinder, ask anybody else also. Meet people and ask these kinds of questions, right? And by now, all of you are here. Many of you are from different backgrounds. Some of you are in the US, Sam is in the US, Neha is in Odisha, Sukhvinder is in Maghali, in Punjab, Sahil is in Punjab, Ashwini is in Bangalore, and Sarang is in Pune. We are all in different things. Apu is in shipping, into shipping. Yuvraj is into testing. Sukhvinder is into entrepreneurship. We are all in different environment background. That's the kind of a network I'm trying to build. KK is into sales. So when you go and talk to them, maybe Sarang, as somebody who is into software engineering, he can talk to KK, connect with KK and ask, hey KK, can we get on a call and speak? Just for 15-20 minutes. And then what should I learn about sales? How do you do sales for IT software engineering? Can you teach me something? That is how I grew. That is how you will expand your knowledge. You will come to know what you think is right is not true. I'll give you this example. Say for example, Sarang goes and talks to KK. And he asks, hey, can you tell me something that I wouldn't know about IT sales? And KK is in IT sales. What Sarang would believe as an IT guy who is sitting in front of the computer and programming all the time is that logic runs the world. So if I say 2 plus 2, it's always 4. And it can be true. If you go and talk to KK, he will say, logic does not run the world. It is stories which run the world. It is the way we tell our story. It is the way we convey our facts. That is what runs the world. It is not the logic, but rather emotion and stories are the ones who are running the world. Who is right? Both of them are right. Right? But we will not know that. We will live in our own bubble if we do not go beyond where we are and ask to talk to somebody else. And that's my second point. So one, you build the diverse network. The other one, we have talked about this during one of the other session called luminal living. do things that scare you. Go out of your comfort zone. Now, when I say go out of your comfort zone, I'm talking not only changing your role, change your city, change as many things as possible, and see are you able to grow. I have done almost all of these things. Every 5 years, I change job and I change my city. What I found to be true in Chennai was not true in Delhi. What I found to be true in Delhi is not true in Chandigarh. And I have visited Pune for quite a while. What I found to be true in Chandigarh is not true in Pune. And I've lived in Brussels for a while. What I found to be true here is not true there, right? But that is what will expand your knowledge. That is what will give you a different patterns for you to observe, and you see, oh my God, these are all the true things. Then when you come back to doing whatever that you want to do, you have a very, very rich knowledge base from which you can borrow. So if I want to talk to Sukhvinder, I can talk in entrepreneurial language. When I am talking to Sarang, I can talk in IT language. When I am talking to KK, I can talk in sales or marketing language. That is when we will be able to know, okay, what is true, what is not true, what works in this particular context, what doesn't work in that particular context. So you need to expand your mind. That will happen only if you do things. A lot of times I was considering whether I should read books, because books also give you knowledge, books also expands your mind. But what I have observed in my life is a lot of people are reading and reading and reading, but they do not put that into practice. They will read 100 books about networking. They will never go and talk to anybody else. So it does not matter what you know. It does not matter what you read. What matters is what you do. So say, for example, you are reading a book on networking. Networking is important, and they have said some things about networking. Go and do that. If it is beyond your comfort zone, go and do that. You will find it difficult. Initially, it will scare you. You will find your energy being sucked. That's fine. Go and do it. And as you grow and grow and grow, that becomes your comfort zone. Now you need to expand beyond that, right? So you need to keep doing that. Like I've been doing this for 34 weeks. When I did that first, I was scared. Even now, as a matter of fact, at least 10 minutes prior, 6:45 or so, I sit down with my kids, I sit down with my wife, I change my mind, because until 6:30 or so, I prepare slides and one thing or the other I'm doing. I'll sit down, I relax for a while with them, and only then I will come here. I'm still concerned and a little bit afraid, but it is a very broad word that I'm using, but I am not so scared like earlier, right? So today there was this internet disruption that happened. If it would have happened on the first day, I would have panicked probably. I wouldn't have come back to this. Now it has become normal. I'm just going in. I know how to handle this. So the first time when you do things, you will get scared. But as you go further and further and further, you repeat that again and again, it becomes normal. That becomes your comfort zone. And then you can do more of that, right? So not just knowing, but you need to do things. Only when you do things, you will learn, you will expand your mind. Lastly, find a mentor. Without a mentor, it is not going to work. And I'm not talking about a teacher. I'm not talking about a coach. I'm talking about a mentor. What I mean by it, see, our teaching, and almost what I have seen is not only our education system in college and school, but even outside, what I have found is it treats everybody as equal. They all have the same interest. They all have the same talent. They all have the same skills, and they all have to be taught the same thing. That is not true. Each of us, our interests are different. Each of us have different talents. Each of us, we thrive in different situations. Some thrive some do their work really well in a quiet environment. For some, there has to be a kind of an adrenaline rush that has to be there. So they have to have a deadline, or they have to be in a chaotic situation, only then they will thrive. For some of us, we need to keep our desk very, very clean. Even if there is a little bit of here and there, you will not be able to work, and so on and so forth. Different people thrive in different environment. We need to find a mentor who will be able to help us. And that mentor, he or she should be able to come down to our level, be on the dirt with us, and then handhold us. And the person also should have done what we are aiming to do. They should have gone through that particular path. And I keep repeating this multiple times whenever I talk about mentorship or coaching. There is no point in walking around the swimming pool, observing everybody, and then finding a pattern, and then say, hey, everybody who swims in this particular manner, so you also have to do that. That's a mistake a lot of coaches do. But the best of the mentors, they are the ones, they have done what you want to do. Get them as mentors. And the mentors also will come down to your level, and they will teach you, handhold you for you to grow. So that is what I would say, you need to find a mentor. So 3 things. So the summary, every success might be a failure in another context. You need to be very, very careful before you apply the principles that you have learned in one context to apply in another context. There are certain principles that are universal, but not always very true. You all might have heard about golden rule. Do unto others what they want to do to you. It's a very fantastic rule. I try to live by it, but even that is not true in every context. So you need to be very careful in about applying those principles in different contexts. How can you do it? Build a diverse network. Do things that scare you. You have to do it. So even after this session, probably even if you can ping one person, maybe KK, maybe Sarang, maybe anyone else, Sukhvinder or Sahil, ping one person and then ask a question or say, hey, I am this, I came on this particular show, I'm just wanting to connect with you. Even that is fine. If you have never done that, do that. Even that is good enough, right? So do things, and then you need to find a mentor. And that is how you will be able to get out of this bubble which shapes your biases and which locks you up in your biases. You need to transform your mind. You need to expand your mind. Only then there is going to be growth. And you can connect with me. I am on everything, wherever you can find me. You can connect with me on Twitter, on LinkedIn. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel where this is streaming, and connect with me. And most of you might know I run a course where I teach these kinds of stuff. How can you continue to learn? And I teach that. And there are a lot of people who have gone through this particular course. There are at least about 40 people I have trained in this particular year. So all of them have gained so much from that. And thank you very much for coming in for this particular show. Have a life of wins. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take it.